Hello and welcome to another episode of Chairman of the Board. My name is Dan Honeyball and today we are going to be reviewing Onitama. Now this is a two-player abstract game that takes about 15 minutes to play. Now I think it's going to be a lot easier if I just show you how it plays on the board instead of actually explaining it to you. So let's go into that now and then I'll follow with the review. Okay, so a game of Onitama will look something like this. You've got the red team and the blue team. And out of those five red pawns you've got here, the one in the center is called the master pawn. And the blue team has exactly the same. Okay, so there are two victory conditions in a game of Onitama. The first of which is to take your opponent's master. The second of which is to get your master onto the throne of your opponents. Okay, so how do we do that? Now, as you can see here, I've given each player two of these movement cards. Now, these dictate how the players can move during the game. Okay, so let's use this dragon card as an example. So this black square here represents where your pawn currently is, and these coloured squares represent where you can move. So this dragon card states that if I wanted to move my master, I could move him here or here. I couldn't move him here and here because I'd be going off the grid. If I wanted to use this crab card, I could actually only move any of my pawns forward one square because this black square represents where I am now, and this is the square where I can move into. Now these two here would either end my turn on top of another pawn, which is an illegal move if it's your own team, that is, or they would take me off the board. So the only moves I could take would be to move forward or to use this dragon card and move to one of these squares here. Okay, so I'm going to choose to use the dragon card and move this guy here. Now once I do that, I actually take this card and put it to the side of my opponent. And then I'll draw this spare card here and put it in front of myself. This will dictate the moves I can take in my next turn. Okay, so now it would be the red player's turn to take his go. So let's say he chose to use this frog card here and moves to this square there. Then he would take this card, put it back to where the original one was, and take the dragon card as his own. The process would continue until either one of these pawns land on top of the master or my master gets onto the other master's throne. The game is as simple as that, but there's a lot more to it that might meet the eye. Now, if your turn was to ever end with your guy landing on an opponent's guy's pawn, then that pawn would be eliminated. So if I was to use the dragon card here with the blue, I would actually move him and land him on top of the red, and then that red would be eliminated for the remainder of the game. If this ever happened to a master pawn, then the game automatically ends, and then the player who took him would be the winner. Okay, so what I like most about Onitama is its beautifully simple and elegant rules. With this being an abstract game, there is next to no luck involved, meaning that the best player will always win. Every move you take in this game is vital, creating this real kind of thinkiness, but it's not to a point where it's frustrating, it's this kind of enjoyable tactical battle. To be really good at this game, you need to think a couple of turns ahead on each of your goes. But the fact that those cards are constantly moving from one player to another means that you can't think too far ahead, eliminating that real feeling of analysis paralysis. The game has great time investments. You can get a best of three in about half an hour. The two victory conditions actually work really well because more openings appear as opposed to a game like chess. I also love the fact that the more you play this game, the better you are going to get at it because you're going to be making less and less mistakes each time you play. The game also comes with a great variety of these movement cards, creating a good amount of replayability, as each time you play this game you're going to get a very different experience. I actually think the production quality is really good as a whole with this game. I mean, The pieces are good, the board's really nice, it's like a neoprene matte, and the box is fantastic. I think the presentation as a whole is really, really good. I mean, I've heard mixed things about it, but I must say personally, I think it's very high standard. For an abstract game, I actually think the theme fits quite well. I mean, I personally can accept that what's going on the board is representing a kind of martial arts battle. I actually find it quite difficult to find fault with this game because for such a simple set of rules, it's surprisingly deep. However, I could understand if maybe an expert chess player might find this a tad too simple. But for everyone else, I really can't think of a reason why they wouldn't enjoy this game. In conclusion, Onitama is essentially a very streamlined version of chess. I've really enjoyed playing this game since I've got it, and have played against a variety of different opponents from all different skill levels, and I've had great success with each of those people. I really feel that Onitama can scratch that strategic itch, but it comes without the burden of having to juggle a million different variables. Overall, I really believe that Onitama is an essential game for 2 players and also an essential abstract game. I really am a huge fan of this game and would recommend it to anybody. I will never turn down a game of Onitama. The playtime is just great, it gives you enough to think about, and it's fun, it's really fun, without the stress of a game of chess, for example. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please stay tuned for the criteria breakdown of Onitama. If you've really enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. This has been Chairman of the Board, and I will see you next time.